So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a this or that game within Google Sheets. So I know normally most people do a this or that game within a printable sheet, or maybe they do it in Google Slides, but I did have a student inside our free Facebook group ask about how to do it within Google Sheets. So that got me thinking, and then I decided to create something like this and show you how to create it yourself. So if you're unaware of what the this or that game is, essentially it's just a game to either find the preferences within yourself or to find common ground within a group of people or maybe a group of students of what they prefer. So for this example, we have a book lovers edition, and it's asking you, would you prefer a paperback or a hardcover? Do you prefer ebooks or physical books? So it's just allowing you to choose an option. So as you can see our example here, as I check one off, it automatically highlights the winner, and then it'll also include the winner over here in our little winner selection. So it's easy to see which ones have won. And yeah, so you can just play around with this. It's a fun game. You could literally do it for any industry, any niche. Just find different things that that specific niche might prefer. But yeah, we're going to create this, and then I'm going to show you how to do option number 2, which is more of a spaced out version, as well as I will show you a little bit of conditional formatting to actually hide any of the other questions that haven't been answered yet, and it will only show the question that needs to be answered. So I am going to show you the 2 different versions, but yeah, we're going to learn how to do that today. So let's go do this. So what we're going to start off with is creating our 3 different sections, our this or that, and then our winner. So I'm going to come over here to a blank sheet, and let's say I'm just going to start in B3 right now, and I'm just going to put in this. Then I'm going to hop over to E. So I'm going to leave 2 spaces in between, because if you take a notice of this, we do have check boxes, and then we do have the column that has the space where you could put whatever text you want in there. And then we do have a spacer between the this or that. So I do want to space it out a little bit. So remember, this will be where our check boxes go. This is where our words will go. And then I have my spacer. So then this is in E3 is where I'm going to put in my that. So that's going to be my title. There you go. And then I'm going to, again, this is going to be where my checkboxes are. This is going to be where my text is. I'm going to have a little bit of spacer, and then in H3, I'm going to put winner. So that's what we're going to have there. So now what I want to do, it depends on how many questions you want to have, like how many comparisons you want to have. You could do 10, you could do 20, you could do as many as you want. And you're just going to insert checkboxes for each of them. So I'm just going to do an example of 10, but you could do as many as you want. So I'm just going to count out 10 cells right now. So I'm selecting my very first cell. I'm going to hold the shift key, and then I'm going to hit the arrow on my keyboard just to count down 10 cells. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So once I've got to 10, I'm going to go insert checkbox. So with those checkboxes already selected, for me personally, I like to make my checkboxes just 1 pixel smaller than my rest of my font. So I'm just going to go over to the size here and then just do the minus to get down to 11. It's up to you what size you want to do. That's just my preference. So I like to make it a little bit smaller. So once we have this, I can actually copy it. Now I'm going to use Command C on a Mac. You can use Control C on a PC. And then I'm going to paste it under the that. So then I have my 2 different checkboxes, one for this and one for that. Then what I want to do is I'm going to resize some of these cells. So I'm going to take column B, and then I'm holding the command button on Mac. You're going to use the control button on a PC, I believe. And then I'm going to select column E. So both of those where it has my checkboxes, I'm going to right click those, resize, and I'm going to resize them to about 40, and then click OK. So there's that one. I'm going to resize column C. Again, on a Mac, I'm going to hold Command. On a PC, you're probably going to hold Control and then select F. So I have my first column, which is where my this text will go. And then I'm going to hold my second column, which is F, and that will be where my second text goes for like that. And I want to resize these because these are quite small. So I'm just going to right click, resize, and then I'm going to make these about 250-ish. And there you go. So that's that size. Now I'm going to go over to where I have my winner. So in column H, I'm going to resize this to be about 280, because I'm taking both my column E and F. So remember, I made this column 40. And this column I did 250, so maybe I'll do it 290. So put those two together to make it similar sizes and then click OK. So there you go. And then I'm just going to take my spacer columns, which is D and G, and I'm going to resize those so they're a bit smaller. So I'm just going to right click, resize, and make these about 30 and click OK. So there you go. So this is our area. Now I want to merge these two cells together so that way I can have the this. It's going to be merged and centered over both my checkboxes and where my text is going to be. So I've selected those two cells. I'm going to click on the merge cells, and I'm going to do the same thing for this one for that. So there you go. And then we can also, I'm just going to modify these right now. I'm just going to bold them. So I've selected each of these cells using the Command key on a Mac, Control on a PC. I can also resize them, so maybe I'll make them a bit bigger. Maybe I'll make them about 30. Oh, that's a bit big. Let's do 20. See how that looks. Good. I might have to resize some of my rows here, so I'm just going to take that row that has my headers in them, and I'm just going to resize it to be about 40. That looks good. I'm also going to resize actually all of my rows that have my checkboxes in them because I like to make them a little bit spaced out. So as you can see here, they do have, they are bigger spaced. So I'm going to make these a little bit bigger. So again, I've selected the first row that has my checkboxes, holding the shift key, grab my last row, and that selects all the rows in between. I'm going to right click, I'm going to resize rows. Sorry, my head's in the way, so I'm just going to move that out of the way. So again, if you didn't see that, I'm going to right click, resize rows, and then I'm going to make these about 40 and then click OK, and that resized them. Perfect. That's looking good. All right, so let's add some borders to this. So I'm going to select my entire range from this, holding the shift key to the bottom right corner of my range. So I've selected both the checkboxes as well as where my text is going to be. Actually, before we do this, let's get in some data, because in case we need to edit anything, I just want to make sure that we put in some data. Now, this is where you can enter in any of your text for the this or that. You can sit down, brainstorm, and think about whatever you want to compare. Go right ahead. I'm going to use ChatGPT to make life a little bit easier for me. But it's totally up to you whether you want to use AI or if you just want to brainstorm it yourself. So I'm going to tell ChatGPT, I'm making a this or that game in Google Sheets for, and then let them know who your audience is. Is it for horse lovers? Is it for real estate professionals? Is it for book lovers? Is it for music lovers? Like, figure out whoever you're creating this for. Like, is it specifically for Valentine's Day? Is it for Christmas? Put that in. So I'm going to put for book lovers, and then I'm going to say, can you give me 3 example lists with 10 this or that options? Because I want to see what it's going to give me. And let's see what options it does give me. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. So it's going to give me different ones. So it's giving me reading preferences, and you can mix or match if you want to as well. This one's giving me genre and story vibes, perfect, and then bookish lifestyle. So I would actually mix these up. So I can say, can you mix those 3 lists up and keep it with only 10 this or that options? Again, you're going to put in how many you want. So if you're doing 25, 30, up to you. But I want to see if it's going to mix those up for me. So it's giving me a whole bunch of different options here. Sweet. There. So that's a great one to do. So if I like this, I'm going to accept it. If not, you can always make more changes if you want to. I'm just going to say that's great. Thank you. I always thank my AI in case they take over the world. And then I'm going to say, can you split it into 2 lists with 1 list for the this options and a second list for the that options? You could put this and that in quotation marks if you want, so it knows that it's for that game, this or that. So it's easier to copy and paste. And let's see what it gives me. Hopefully it splits it up for me. Ah, perfect. There we go. So now I've got these options. I'm happy with them. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to copy those. Hop back over into my spreadsheet here, selecting the very first cell where I'm going to put in my text. I'm going to right click, paste special, values only. So you can use this shortcut if you want, but I'm just going to put in values only. Sometimes this happens where it will actually, it gets annoying like this sometimes. This might happen with you or not, but as you can see, it's actually skipped every, like, it's skipped. It's got a space in between each of my options. So I'm just going to undo that. So you can always click undo. And that gets annoying. I'm going to show you a little shortcut to easily do that. And yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste in. So I've opened up a new sheet just by clicking on the plus button. Anywhere inside this new sheet, just paste it. Go paste special, values only. And then I'm just going to do a quick formula. I'm going to say in a new cell, I'm going to do equals unique. And then I'm going to select all these. And there you go. So it does give me a little space in between there. That's fine. I'm just going to nearly copy this first one. It gets a little annoying when it does that, but don't worry. So I'm going to paste this in here. So again, my very first cell, I'm going to right click, paste special, values only. So I want, it's not copying over any formatting or anything. It's just literally giving me the text. And then I can grab the rest of them. So as you can see how it's using the unique filter or formula. So again, well, I'll show you again for when we're doing that, but it took away all the extra little spaces in between the words. So if you have that problem, then you can use this little hack. If not, if you don't have that problem, then you're fine. You could just do the right click, copy paste or paste special type of thing. But anyways, yeah, so we want to copy the rest of them, bring it over into our area. So now I'm going to go to the next cell, right click, paste special, values only. And so there you go. Everything looks good now. So now what I need to do is just copy the next list. And even if you ask ChatGPT to not add spaces in between, for some reason, it still adds spaces. So I really don't know how to get rid of that. So let's say paste special, values only. See, it's still giving me spaces. So I'm just going to have to go back to my extra sheet, paste it in, paste special, values only. Then I'm going to do equals unique. So again, unique formula, right bracket, and then I'm going to select the entire range that has my text in there. Put my sorry, I had my left bracket. So it's unique, left bracket, and then our range, and then our right bracket. And then hit enter, and it will give us everything, even though there's a space in between. Don't worry about that. Just copy the first one, paste it in right under that. Again, paste special, values only, and then go back and copy the rest and paste those in. So that's a little hack. So then I can paste special, values only, and it gets the rest of them. And then I can delete this page just by clicking on the arrow and then clicking delete for that tab. And then get rid of that because that was just to help us organize everything without having to like manually go remove all the things. The reason why I don't do sort in A to Z, because then it screws up our lists of like what's comparing to what. So unfortunately, this is the quickest way I could figure out how to do that when we do have the spaces. When I tested this out earlier, I didn't have spaces in between these options. So I don't know why ChatGPT sometimes gives you space in between your text and sometimes doesn't. I don't know. Anyways, this is looking good. Let's add some borders now. So I'm going to select my range here. And I'm going to come over to borders. I like using dark gray number 4, which is the second darkest one. I'm going to apply all borders. I'm going to do that for, whoops, don't do what I just did. Undo. There we go. Thank goodness for the undo button. Anyways, I'm going to apply this to all the borders for each of my areas. And then I'm just applying the borders. Perfect. But now I do want to do a lighter border in between my options here. So I'm going to select this very first cell with my checkbox, holding the shift key. I'm going to select to the bottom right corner of that range. I'm going to come back here. I'm going to do a lighter gray. So I do the fourth one. So I do this one. And then I'm going to do horizontal borders. So it just makes sure the borders in between my different options are a little bit lighter. Now, if you're doing this style, you won't have to do that. So you can just skip ahead if you are doing it more of this style, up to you. But for now, with this style, that's why I'm doing it. So if you go view, show, and then hide the grid lines, this is what it's going to look like. So it's a little bit softer of a color versus very like straight dark color in between. Up to you and your style. I'm just changing them. So I'm going to do it for this one as well, and then this one. So I'm just changing those borders there. And then I'm going to hide the borders in between the checkboxes and the actual text itself by coming to the borders. Under border color, choose no borders, and then choose our right border, because I want this border in between our checkboxes and our text here to be hidden. So I'm just going to choose that. So as you can see, it makes it look nice and like smooth. So I'm going to choose that and do it for this one as well. And then if you want your text, right now my text is centered. I can always left align it as well. So if you want to left align your text, go right ahead. All right, so that is that. Let's add some color here. I'm just going to choose some colors from my different options that I've already chosen, but you can play around with your own color scheme later on if you want. But I like making things pretty. Okay, so now what I want to do here is I want to add a few different things, because remember we have our option here of how we choose our winner. And then we have conditional formatting to actually highlight each of the winners for our list here. So we're going to do those two things right now. So for our winner, I'm going to double click in, and I'm going to do two if statements, and they're going to be nested inside of each other. So an if statement is essentially saying, hey, if this is true, I want this to happen. If it is false, I want this to happen. So it's giving you two different options. And basically I want to say is, if this is checked off, I want it to say this word. If it's not, and this is checked off, then I want it to say this word. But if none of them are checked, I want it to be blank. So this is how I'm going to show you. So equals if, left bracket, then I'm going to select the very first cell that has my checkbox in it. And then I'm going to put equals true. So it's saying, hey, if this one is checked off, which is true, so any unchecked boxes are false, any checked boxes are true. So if this is true, if it's checked off, I want it to, so I'm going to put a comma, and then I'm going to say what I want it to say if true. So if this one is checked off, I want it to show this as the winner. So I'm going to select this cell, and then I'm going to do a comma, and then I want to say if not, what do I want to true? And this is where I'm going to nest another if formula within this. So I'm going to now put if, left bracket, and I'm going to select the first checkbox of the that area. So I'm going to select this, and I'm going to say equals true, comma. And then so now this is saying, hey, if this is checked off, I want it to show this answer because that's the winner. So I'm going to select that cell. And then if not, if it's not checked off and this isn't checked off, I want it to be blank. And I'm just going to put two quotation marks there. And I'm going to put my right bracket and another right bracket. So again, it's saying, hey, if this is checked off, it's going to say this. If it's not checked off and this is checked off, it's going to say this. But if both aren't checked, it's going to be blank. That's essentially what it's saying. Don't worry, I'm going to copy and paste the formula below as well. So I'm going to hit enter, and because nothing's checked off, it's blank. If I check this one off, you can see it shows ebooks. And then if I choose this one, it shows physical books. Great. So that's how that works. Now what I'm going to do is select the cell that has our formula, and I'm just going to use that magical blue dot and pull it all the way down. Now this is going to throw off my borders a little bit, but that's okay. While that's selected, I'm just going to go fix my borders because I am picky like that and I like them to be a certain way. Oh, I also have to fix that one. Don't mind me. No, I don't want the red. There we go. I'm just fixing my borders. So now if I check these off, let me check off some of them. You can see everything's been updated because we used that magical blue dot and pulled that formula all the way down. What it did is it copied the formula, but it adjusted the cell references to match the current row. So as you can see, now this is plot driven because I've checked that one off. So everything works the way it should. There you go. So movie adaption. So now what we want to do is highlight any of the boxes that are checked off because I want this to highlight because this is my winner. I want this one to highlight. So what we're going to do is we're going to apply two different conditional formatting rules, one for the this and one for the that. Actually, let me just color this in because when I have formulas, I like to put a color behind it so that my customers know not to edit it. So anyways, these are the winners. But for here, I want to highlight both right behind the checkbox as well as the text of whatever options have been checked off, whatever ones are the winners. So I'm going to select my very first cell with my first checkbox. I'm going to hold the shift key and I'm going to select the very last cell, right corner cell of my range. So I'm selecting both this column as well as this column all the way to the bottom of my options here. I'm going to go format. Actually, let me just move my head because I'm going to get in the way. Format. Then we're going to go conditional formatting. And then under format rules, I'm going to choose custom formula is, and I'm going to start doing a formula. I'm going to say equals. I'm going to put a $sign in front. And then we're going to use the first cell with the first checkbox. So B4 is our option. So again, it's going to do equals $sign B4. And then that's all you need because it automatically highlights any of the areas that have a checkbox with them. Like that's been checked off. As you can see, it highlights them. So now I can match up the color. You can change the formatting however you want. You can bold, italicize, underline, change the text color, change the background color. I'm just going to change the background color. It's up to you, but I'm going to match it and do a lighter green to match my green and then click done. So now if I click out of there, you can see if I choose this one, it automatically highlights that one. So awesome. We're going to do the same thing over here. So again, I'm going to select the checkboxes all the way to the very bottom of my range, holding the shift key, go to format, conditional formatting, and then I'm going to choose custom formula is, and then I'm going to do equals, and then we're going to reference the very first cell that has my checkbox, which is E4. So I'm going to put the $sign in first. So remember it's equals $sign E4. So again, it's referencing the very first cell here. And as you can see, it's already highlighting them. So now I would choose my color. I'm going to do this light pink and then click done. So there you go. That's how you can easily do it. Now, just to give you a heads up, if you do choose both, it'll highlight both and it will only show the very first checkbox. So you want to make sure that only one is selected so that it gives the right answer. But yeah, so that's how it works. And then you can delete any extra columns or rows that you want. But that's essentially the basic version, okay? Very simple, easy, love it. All our winners are here. Looks great. Now we're going to do this option here. And I'm going to show you how to add in your little spacers as well as add in it where so that way it shows as all white, so it hides all the future questions and only focuses on what you're currently answering. Because now if I check this off, it will now show the second option. If I choose that, and it automatically starts showing what is in the next question that needs to be answered, but it still hides everything else. All right, so let's do that for this one. So we're going to add in our spacers. So what I'm going to just do is I'm going to just duplicate one of our blank rows here. I'm just going to do insert row one below, and then I'm going to drag it into space between my first this or that and my second one. So as you can see, that looks great. So I can just make a whole bunch of these copies. So what I'm just doing is inserting a row below, and then I'm moving it down. Inserting a row below. So I'm picking one that has no formatting to, because if you do choose one, let's say if I added a row below here, and you can see I have formatting there, it's going to be the same formatting as the one that you just copied. That's why I like using, or you can use any of the empty rows that are below here as well. You could just pull them and put them in between. I will have to fix some of my, what you called, formatting, like my borders, but I'm literally just putting it in between. Let me move some stuff. There we go. There. I'm literally just dragging these empty rows in between to give little spacers. Lovely. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just selecting my different areas. So to do this, to select multiple cells that aren't in the same range, what you need to do is select the first cell, hold the command shift. So if I'm saying command, if you're on a PC, you're using control. If you're on a Mac, you're using command. So I'm selecting both of those and I'm holding the command key and then command shift to grab the next. Or you can literally just hold the command slash control and select all of these different options at the same time. You can skip forward if you don't want to watch me do this, but I'm just fixing all of these. So I'm going to select them for each of them. And then I'm just fixing the borders. So it's a nice border around. So I'm doing outer borders. So it looks more nice. Oh, I forgot to put one of those in between. There you go. Yeah, so I'm just doing that. So I'm just selecting all of these. So it looks nicer. That's the reason why I'm doing this. Oh, and then I accidentally uncheck something, and then I'm just going to grab these. Again, I'm just holding the command key on a Mac, control on a PC to grab cells that are not attached to each other, and then I'm just fixing the borders of those. There you go. Okay, so that's how you add spaces in between. Now it looks good. Now what we want to do is we want to add in conditional formatting so that way any previous questions, future questions that you haven't answered yet are hidden. So what we're going to do is I'm going to select from this cell to this one, and I'm going to hide it. Actually, what I'm going to do first is uncheck everything. So I'm going to select between the A and the 1, there's that gray rectangle. You can select it and then hit spacebar once on your keyboard and then hit it again to uncheck everything. Because what I wanted to say is, hey, if this is unchecked and if this is unchecked, I want these to be hidden. So what I'm going to do now is select from B6, so where my second checkbox is, holding the shift key, grab to the end of the range. It doesn't matter if this is highlighted, I'm just going to grab the entire range here. And then I'm going to go format, conditional formatting. I'm going to add another rule. And then I'm going to go underneath to custom formula is, so format rules, custom formula is, and then we're going to do two different ones. So we're going to do equals and left bracket, and then I'm going to reference the check mark above, so B4. So I'm going to do $B $4 because we want to do an absolute reference, meaning that we're only referencing this cell, no other cells. It's got to be this one specifically. So we've got the $sign in front of the column and then also the $sign in front of the row. So $B $4 equals false, because if it's unchecked, which is false, then I want it to, sorry, we're not putting the right bracket yet. I want it to be hidden. So now I'm going to do that. I'm going to do, and because we need to make sure both this one and this one is unchecked, because if you only do one, if this one is checked, let's say they chose ebooks versus physical books, this will still hide it. So that's why we have the and, because we need to make sure two different things are true. One, that this is unchecked and that this is unchecked. So again, we've got $B $4 equals false, comma, and then we're going to reference this checkbox now. So we're going to do, again, $E $4 equals false. So used to putting true. And then I'm going to put a right bracket. So that is our thing. So as long as this one is false and this one is false, then it's going to apply whatever conditional formatting rules we want to this. And so now we're going to choose our formatting style, and you want to choose a fill color that matches your background. So I just have a white background. I'm just going to choose a white color for my fill color, and then also the text color, you want to choose that as well. So it's going to hide everything. So I've just changed both the text color and the fill color to white, and then I can click done. But what I actually want to do is apply this rule to every single option below here. So now what we're going to do is click add another rule instead. And so what we want to do is we're going to take this apply to range and we're going to change that. We're going to delete that because this is a new rule. I'm going to select the little icon and then select our new area of where we want to apply that formatting to. I'm going to click OK. It's automatically going to hide out, but what we actually need to do is change our formula, and we're just updating it so this one will show B6. So normally there would be a checkbox right here. We want to reference this one and this one, not the first one. So now I'm going to change it. Instead of it being B4, it's going to be B6. So I'm going to change the 4 to a 6, and then I'm going to come over to E and then change it from E4 to E6. And there you go. Our formatting's already there, so we don't have to change anything else. We're literally, for the next few rules, we're just changing the range it's applying to and then the formula. So I'm going to click add another rule. So now we're going to apply it to this one. So I've deleted out that range and now I'm going to select the new range. I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to change this to be B8 and E8. So again, going to our formula, changing it from B6 to B8 and then E6 to E8 or whatever your cell references are. And that's literally all you're doing. So now we're going to do this. We're going to delete or apply to range. We're going to choose the new section, click OK. And then we're going to do B10 and E10. So it's super easy to do. It just takes a few minutes to do. Then we're going to add another rule. And then we're going to, again, delete out the range, select our new range where we want to apply the new rule to. Click OK. And then we're going to do B12 and then B12. And the reason why is because we're just matching it up here. So that way, B12. So as long as this one is not checked off, then this will hide. Okay, and then click add another rule, and then we're just going to do a few more. So you're literally just repeating this over and over again and just doing this one because now we're referencing B14 and then E14. Add another rule, delete out that range, select the new range, click OK. Then we're just editing the formula to be B16 and E16, add another rule, two more. And then again, we're just deleting out that range and adding in our new range, clicking OK, changing out our formula to be B18 and E18, because again, we're referencing the rule or the checkbox right above, and then click add another rule, and then our last one. So again, we're selecting a new range, click OK, and then we're just again referencing B20 and E20. So now we're just editing that. So B20 and then E20. And then click done because this is our last rule. So there you go. So now I can get out of that sidebar. And as I choose each of these, the next one shows. So as long as you did it correctly, it should work like this. And now it's showing off all the new ones. Isn't that cool? But anyways, that's how you do it. And then you've got all your answers here. So that's all the winners. And then it also highlights the winners as here as well. So you can easily see what you prefer. So that's that. If you have any questions at all, please reach out. I'm happy to answer any questions. I should have all the different formulas below. But yeah, you can use this with any niche, with any audience. You could use this for kids, for adults, whoever you want to use it for. You could do dog lovers, cat lovers, different animal lovers. You could do books, movies. You could do it for your own like profession. So like some people like using spreadsheets. Some people like using like Microsoft Word. Like you can find anything that you can ask what they prefer, one or the other. You can totally do it. If you need any help, you can always ask ChatGPT and be like, hey, this is my audience. What kind of this or that questions can I ask them? Then it can give you a whole bunch of different examples. And then if you, like we did here, if you need any help picking out different questions of this and that, it will give you different options. You can mix them up. You can choose which ones you like. And then you can ask for a separate list to easily copy and paste into your this or that. So yeah, now what I would do is I would just delete out any extra rows or columns and make it so that you only see this. But yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you so much for watching this. I hope you make some awesome this or that games. I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye.